What is up, guys? Welcome to another live session. Today is December 12th, 2019, and the markets are on one this morning. And who knows what it is? I do, because it is Donald J. Trump. He tweeted at 9:30 a.m. getting very close to a big deal with China. They want it, so do we. 9:35 a.m. December 12th, and we can see gold drop, USD CHF, CAD CHF rocket, just tough luck. And this is one of the things you're gonna start to notice about this month in particular. When we get closer to Christmas, is it gets kind of harder to not only trade, um, but to trade with, I guess, kind of a certainty that you don't have, that you usually have during the regular parts of the year. So, for example, the gold short we took, this is why we only use 50% of our regular lot size in gold. So instead of a 50 a 60 pip loss, it was actually a 30 pip loss. But it was still a loss, and it still hurt me. Not my account, but more so just my psyche, my emotions, because it really looked like a nice short. You can see we had a nice hourly resistance created here at 1479 after the Fed decision of keeping rates the same. We had a rejection, and then we had a break of this previously hourly support, and we were destined to go lower. Right, this is where we were targeting, and we took quite a little detour this morning. I kind of jumped back up and actually went to a level we've traded a lot this year, 1484. I think I've said this level maybe 100 times this year, but this level has provided us a lot of setups, a lot of shorts and buys. So let's go to the daily. We can see. But yeah, and then Trump came in with the tweet of a possibility of a big deal with China, and obviously that's going to give the U.S. dollar strength, and gold snapped back down. We can see 1484. What a nice support. We've used it in the past for many of our trades, as you can see with the arrow. And if you're back testing and you're looking at the gold chart, let's say in February or March, and you're on the daily and you see this, these candles, especially these two right here, you would have been like, oh, 1484 is a nice level. Price came up here and there was a short, but we have to realize is that there's a story behind this move. And so it all started during the London session when the European Union decided to keep rates the same, as well as the Swiss National Bank. And so that's when gold, I guess, kind of started to gain strength as a safe haven and make a push to 1484. And then Trump's tweet instantaneously dropped it, and we would have been well into profits. But this is just, these things you can't really predict. But at the end of this video, I'm going to be giving you guys a set of tools, the best tools for any Forex trader to increase profitability, to minimize any surprises in terms of news or anything of that sort. And I'll tell you guys about the tools that I recommend at the end. So these tools you can get familiar with as the year comes to an end. Over the holiday break, you can practice with them, use them, get familiar with them, and get them set up. Because once New Year's is done, the new trading year will be off to the races, and we'll be back in normal conditions. But gold, 30, I think it was a 33 pip loss. But if you're new, whenever we enter gold, we always do a 50% of regular lot size, just because we have a lot of people with small accounts, and not even that, but gold tends to move very, very quickly, and it's very volatile. So if it does go against us, we're not going to get burnt too bad, but it just hurts to see it in profit right now, and I wouldn't be surprised if it does go all the way to the bottom of this target, and it's going to tick me off, but that's what happens. And then to add further damage, USD CHF. Now you talk about CAD CHF. USD CHF. Let's do USD CHF since we're talking about the dollar. USD CHF at the Fed rate decision yesterday started to melt. And I was actually surprised by that, just because we knew they were going to keep rates the same. But I actually thought Powell was going to have a bullish stance and voice and tone during the conference to kind of drive dollar strength. But he focused on inflation not getting past 1.6%. And so what that did was it kind of made people question whether Powell and Trump are on the same terms, because Trump wants to continue to cut rates. Powell for the whole year was against that, totally against that. So it's definitely a surprise to me that happened. But what we can do for the remainder of the week is kind of be an observer, because today we do have the UK elections being released at 11 p.m. to midnight. So we'll talk about that at the end of the session. But USD CHF, I mean, if you look at the stop loss we actually used on our chart idea, we got stopped out. We actually closed out before the stop loss, but in our trade idea on our charts, we would have gone stopped out by 3 pips and come back in profit. And it is a nice support level. If you guys remember on Tuesday's session, I had the arrows coming here to this level, because we wanted buys from here, but I said that there could be a chance that USD CHF comes to this next level of support and then makes that rally. So that's why our stop loss was a bit more than this, but obviously it was not enough for the Trump news. But nonetheless, this is the case where technicals and fundamentals can sometimes be aligned. It's just that one might be ahead of the other, but pretty sad to see. Luckily, CAD CHF did us no harm. So luckily we had this trade, and thank God. Yesterday when I told you guys to close out USD CHF, I had a feeling that CAD CHF was probably going to continue going our way, just because it didn't involve the dollar. And not too shabby. So currently we're up 45 pips. We went as high as 50 pips. I think my second runner actually got closed out. So I'm probably going to open up another order, a smaller order, to take the rest of this trade to our final target. And that is up to 0.75600. And you can see the daily looks pretty nice now. Okay, if you look at past instances, we've had a nice bullish reaction from this level right here, 0.74336, and we got that right now, and we have a second confirmation candle on the daily. So we are going higher for CAD CHF. It just determines where. So I'm probably gonna open up another position because my runner just got closed to the next take profit 0.75,000 flat. And then the final take profit would probably be 0.775500. So at least this trade's working out for us. But USD CHF and gold were heartbreakers. In the span of 36 hours, we had actually 24 hours. We had opposite news for the dollar. So one, the Fed came out dovish in the Fed announcement. And then the next day, Trump says, you know what? I just whipped up a nice big deal for China. Get ready. So it's going to happen, but thankfully it doesn't happen too often, and we avoided it a lot this year. Again, I think we only had around 13 trades hit their stop loss. So for the whole year, that's pretty good, if I do say so myself. And like I said today, we did have the European ECB meeting earlier in the day, and they decided to keep their monetary policy the same, continue quantitative easing, which means making it easier for people to get loans, people and businesses, and to keep the rates the same. So they're obviously trying to stimulate their economy as well. And today we have the UK elections, and the results are coming out at 11 p.m. to midnight. But you will have developments throughout the day with the poll counts in the various seats. So definitely not a day you want to be in the markets. That's why I'm not really kind of eager to show you guys any setups, because it's just gonna do more harm than good. Um, but we could take a look at a few things if you guys want. Bitcoin is looking pretty good, so we'll take a look at that. Let me just check out the chat. So while that loads, we'll actually take a look at Bitcoin and see where it's at, and also Tezos. I talked about this yesterday, but I think it's a very promising crypto, and we'll take a look at our prediction for that as well. So Bitcoin consolidating, but it's still pretty similar to the idea yesterday. Trendline break, 6,000 is our final target. An intermediate target, or a short-term immediate target, is 6,700 and probably be 6,500, whatever, pick your poison. But it's looking pretty dead right now. I'm actually surprised it's consolidating this much. Yikes. Christmas came early. Christmas came early for Bitcoin. So if you're wondering how markets look like during Christmas time, Christmas Eve, Christmas week, and New Year's, this is what it'll probably look like. Just, move up, a move down, move up, a move down, but really staying in the same spot, not really doing much. You may have bursts of volume. So you may have bursts of volume like you did here, and then a little fall back here, but it comes back. This is what you'll see during the Christmas time, and this is actually better than what you'll see during the Christmas time. It will be far worse than this, and so because honestly you could scalp this, these levels, but during Christmas time it's not even gonna be that way. So not sure why Bitcoin's consolidating for Coinbase. Maybe let me check another broker, but whatever the case may be, yeah, it's that way for all the providers. So that's weird, but I guess it's because Bitcoin and took a holiday real early. XDC USD Tezos with a $2 prediction, and it's looking pretty nice. Which one did I use? Was it Kraken? No, it was not Kraken. Maybe it is Coinbase. Oh yeah, that's cool. So our Tezos predictions doing pretty good, and it's showing some volume, at least more than Bitcoin. So very simple price action analysis. We drew our two zones of confluence. So our resistance zones, we can see wicks literally went out of their ways into this region, right at $2, kind of near there, $1.90 to $2. And so that's a nice psych level. So 180 to 190 is kind of what we're targeting, but technically $2 as it's a psych level. And you can see, we've created support. So this is a support region, and we had a bounce. And over here was a trade idea posted on our trading view to go up to here. So we're almost there. We're at $1.70, 20-ish pips away. So hopefully you guys take some of my crypto calls while the Forex markets take a breather during the holidays. I think crypto would be a nice thing to look at. So let's see if the chat's ready to go. I blame this on Firefox, but I've all my cookies and my login saved that it's such a hard transition to Google Chrome. And no, the chat's not loading. And so if there's any pair recommendations, I'm going to look at them now and then talk about the top tools for any trader that I recommend that's going to increase profitability. So let's go, Firefox, come on. There we go. Oil shirt. Hey Luke. No, I don't. So you tend to always be right on these calls to close out early. Was it a bit strange though how you got out of USD due to the incoming fundamentals, but then called the USD CHF. When was this? So with gold, the first gold we took, I was actually awake, so I was able to make that call. When I called that gold short last night, I was asleep, and during London, it kind of made that retrace, but I probably would have gotten us out. But it did a very similar thing to what it did the first time around when we decided to get out. So I'll explain that, just so you guys can realize that when to get out of a trade. I did that as a lesson yesterday. So that when I'm asleep and I call the signal or you're in a trade and you see those cues, those signs of a trade about to go against you, you can get out. And so I'll talk about that. Luke then called the USD CHF. USD CHF was called on Tuesday, so we were gonna ride with that, especially with the bullish bias. Marco, I'll look at oil short real quickly for you. So let's look at oil. So oil is also kind of consolidating. So here's what it did again, and this is what we wanted to look for the first time. So when I gave this a long setup when we were here, I told you guys that for this to be a long setup, we want a candle closure above these highs. And so if I get out a horizontal ray like this, we want that because this is a break of a level, and the level is this, right? This is the resistance, 59.21. So we want a break of that level, which we got. We want a retest, which we got. And then we want another candle that's a rejection candle. And a rejection candle is only a rejection candle when it closes above the previous highs of the break and retest. So we did not get that here, and if we look to the left, we had a previous attempt at these highs to no avail, and we look today, we had a closure above, but as you can see, we did not close above these wicks, and so we wanted a candle to basically close above these wicks to confirm that we're going higher, and all we did was just come up to this resistance and come back down. So that's what I see for crude oil. It's kind of consolidating as well. So if I remove this long idea and get out this rectangle tool, you can see this is consolidation. This is a definition of consolidation. From this level to this level, from this level to this level, from this level, probably going to go down to here. Now, since it's a Thursday and we have all this news and Trump has yet to announce the deal, I do not want to enter this. Any other day and Trump wasn't blabbing his mouth or there wasn't an election, I would probably take the intraday short to the bottom of this consolidation range. But there's too many variables, and this trade might give you an extra 3% on your account. You can also risk 3% just as easily. So it's not worth it right now. I mean, let's see. The dilemmas. Let's see one thing. Let me check. Tomorrow we have the U.S. core retail sales. Let's check that out. Come on, mouse. Mouse fell half asleep on me. Great. Okay, so let's just check Forex Factory, see where we are for this week on Friday. I believe it's the core retail sales for the U.S. Okay, cool. And they're expected to come out better than expected. Okay. Do we want to trade this? As we talk about this, it continues to drop. Let's see. Is it worth it? 1.69. Yeah, not bad. Yeah. If you have a big account, go ahead and enter 0.50% of your regular lot size. Entry is now. First take profit is 58.82 per barrel. And then the next take profit, which is the final one, will be conservative and shoot for 58.49. And the last one is going to be 58.12. So entry is now. First take profit 58.82. The next one 58.49. The final one 58.11. Stop loss at 59.78 per barrel. Go ahead and enter now. If I call this on Telegram, this could have probably already dropped out of the sky. Like we had a really nice short on crude oil. I think last week or the week before, which in one candle we got all the profits. So go ahead and enter now. Hopefully this could make up the losses for gold because I'm pretty ticked off about that. But crude oil, short it. And see this dilemma I went through of do I want to call a trade or not? You know, how if we lose is okay, how are we doing for the week? All these questions run through my head when I even send out a signal. So trust me, when I send out a trade or I get you guys in and out of a trade, understand that I'm using the best of my knowledge, the best of my intuition to make those calls. And whenever you guys lose money, it hurts me just as much because I take the same trades, but I feel bad. Whenever you guys make money, I feel really happy. So it's not easy calling signals, but you know, this is what I signed up for, and I love it. So let's give crude oil a shot. Use 50% of your regular position. If you have a small account, I say anything below 500 or 1,000, just don't bother. Just because I think you won't even be able to enter the trade because your broker won't let you. But let's see how this goes, and hopefully this is better than gold and it's not playing any tricks on us. Any last minute pair recommendations? Let me say morning first. Hope you saw the same thing, Marco. And please, guys, start to kind of incorporate these things on learning how to trade on your own, because it's going to help you in the end. I can't be awake 24/7, and at some point you want to become independent. And so let's look at gold, like Luke mentioned. So if you guys remember, we had a gold short from here, and I'll actually just draw the idea very vaguely to my best memory. It was something like this, right? We took a gold short, and I think we got into some profit before you made a retrace back up. So we had an idea like this. Okay, now I'm gonna remove it because it's getting in the way. But we went into some profit, then we made a retrace, and at this retrace, after this retrace, we kind of consolidated for a bit. You can see these candles, a lot of hammers, pin bars, dojis, whatever you want to call them. Just a lot of consolidation, and I got us out of the trade, and thank God I did, because this would have ended up stopping us out. And this was during the day, so I was obviously awake. Now, if you look at the gold short we took yesterday night, once again, same thing. We entered into some profit, and then we printed an indecision candle, another indecision candle, and then an inverted hammer. And then all this is fine. I wouldn't be too alarmed. Let me actually zoom in. So this is an indecision candle, equal wick to the top and bottom. Indecision candle, equal wick to the top and bottom. Mini inverted hammer. I wouldn't be alarmed. The only time I would have been alarmed is when we made that retrace back up to this level, and we had a pretty thick bearish candle. At this point, I would be kind of alarmed and actually get you guys to exit out, because we were coming up to some Swiss franc news anyways. But usually, if you notice, for most of our setups, and I spoke about this yesterday, when we enter them, they usually go within our favorite direction over the course of a few hours, and they don't really consolidate. They're usually very quick, rapid movements. And so Whenever gold consolidates in and around the level, that's usually news for an impulse move, and we did have that impulse move, and then another impulse move fueled by news. And so over time, I mean, if you guys want, you can spend the break kind of back testing these kind of quote unquote rules about our strategy, and finding spots where, especially gold, especially oil, silver, any commodity, when they consolidate in and around the key level, like this resistance level, it is due for an impulse move. But gold has been pretty good for us. I think we've had probably an 80% success ratio on gold this year, and this is a trade setup we would take 10 times out of 10 for a short. Obviously, we're in different circumstances. We had European and Swiss news come in, and obviously the Swiss is a safe haven, but gold also acts as a safe haven. So with the Swiss bank remaining put as a safe haven on its monetary policy, a lot of investors shifted their confidence into gold as a safe haven. So we saw that impulse move, but it could have been avoided. But like I said, I cannot be awake 24/7. This is why the trading room is here. So during the times I am awake, I can give you guidance that you can then practice and use when you trade on your own. With that being said, if there's any pair recognitions, let me know before I move on to the next part of the live session. Okay, looks like we are done. So I just want to pull up CAD CHF, and let me actually pull up oil. I just want to see how it's doing. I don't like to do a live signal call, then 5 minutes later tell you guys to get out. Okay, look, could do better than that, but we are on the 1 hour time frame. It's fine. We'll see how this goes. Anyways, now this part of the segment, I'm gonna recommend you guys some tools to improve your trading. And let me actually just check one thing. Okay, so cool. So these are 5 tools that I recommend to improve your profitability in trading. And I don't have any sponsorships with these tools, but I think they are great, and they are all free. So the first tool that I recommend to really take your trading to the next level is TradingView. I know a lot of people, when they start off, they use MetaTrader 4 on their phone. I don't advise that, or on the computer. It's great and all, but I think TradingView's interface is so much cleaner, so much smoother, so much, I guess, it's just nicer. It's more elegant. MetaTrader has those funky noises, and the charts just don't look as clean to me. But yeah, and it's very simple to use, and you can also post your ideas and keep a backlog of how you did. So every day we post our ideas, and there's a button which you can click play to see how the trade idea is playing out. So if you're looking to really track your analysis and see how it does, use TradingView. Analyze it there, and then post your idea. And then a few days later, just click play on that idea and see how it played out. This is a good way to see, what kind of analysis you do, and also your peers. So that's TradingView, and this is something we offer in our portal for free, the pro version. We have 4 charts at your disposal, which you can change to any pair. So definitely make use of that. The next tool I recommend is Forex Factory, which is a very basic but helpful fundamental schedule. It keeps track of all the events and the releases and forecasts, and we look at it pretty much every session. That's how important it is to us. So if you want, you can bookmark this along with TradingView as a tool. So if you're ever looking to enter a signal, pop up Forex Factory and check the schedule for the day that you enter, maybe even the day after, to see what events you have to look out for. For example, Friday we have core retail sales, so you don't really want to be entering a trade on Friday anyways, but especially not before core retail sales for anything containing the dollar. And so a very nice tool. Another thing that I recommend is Daily Effects. Now, Daily Effects does a really, really good job at not only explaining technicals, but doing nice articles on fundamental news. So if we look at today's articles, Euro stable as ECB leaves rates unchanged, pledges strategic review, crude oil meets prices meet trend resistance, near term turn lower looks next. And this article agrees with what we just talked about. It's at resistance. We do see a potential for it to go down lower, and we did enter a short. Gold price outlook uptick post FOMC, but investors remain wary of tariff developments. And this is something we also just talked about with Trump's tweet about the trade war. So it has really good content, and it's also technical and fundamental. And I just think they do a really good job. So if you're, on your commute, if you're on the bus or the train, whatever it may be, or on your lunch break, these are nice articles to read through and just get a better sense of the market. So they really explain these kind of complex financial and economic releases into layman terms so you can understand them. So that's 3 tools. Another tool I recommend is Twitter. And who you follow on Twitter matters. And one person you have to follow is Donald J. Trump, because he has moved the markets more than anyone has this year, I believe. His Twitter fingers does damage. So go ahead and follow him, and then you can actually get his notifications. And I believe that's only on mobile. But when you go on mobile, you can click on his name, and there's a little alarm bell that you can click. So whenever Trump tweets anything, you will get that notification, and you'll be the first to know. So for example, getting very close to a big deal with China, he tweeted this at 9:35 a.m. If you saw this and you were in gold, you probably would have had an immediate spike, but you could have got out before gold went further to the upside. Very important. I also recommend you follow Bloomberg Business, as they do a good job on recapping financial stuff across the world. So, for example, today's article, President Donald Trump tweeted Thursday that U.S. is getting a very close to a big deal with China, and you can see, things about the ECB. So videos, they have segments from Bloomberg TV, and speaking of Bloomberg TV, that's also on our portal. So a lot of these things are on our portal, but some of them are external, and so this is another tool. And the last thing that I recommend, and I can't, crude oil, come on, and I can't recommend it enough, is our portal. It combines pretty much everything I talked about into a one convenient place. We have our charts, which you can easily change to whatever you want. So if I want to look at crypto, I can pull up crypto, no problem. I can draw on these charts like so. And then we have our own fundamental schedule. You click news, you have that come up right here, and you can check that out. And we also have Bloomberg TV, so whenever you want to watch economic release, just click play. It's all live, and it will show up if Firefox will let it, and boom, there you go. So those are the 5 tools I recommend to increase your profitability. Over the trading break, try to make use of these tools just to take your trading to the next level, and that would be that. So this week was expected, was pretty much what I expected it to be, and hopefully crude oil does not break our hearts right now, because it does look like a good trade, but it's currently teetering. Like I said, our stop is pretty tight, and it's 50% position. But this year was great. The pip counts are on our website. If you go to forexlens.com, you go to signals, past results, you can see my pip counts for the past few months, and we have been doing phenomenal. So I know people are still eager to trade, so that's why I did this call. If it was up to me, I probably wouldn't enter this trade, but I'm a person of the people, and so when you have a good year, you can kind of be a bit more risk seeking at the end of the year. So that would be that. I do have an important thing I need to handle tomorrow from 9 to 12. So the live session might be postponed to maybe 1 p.m. or to another time. I'll let you guys know more about that after today's session. So without further ado, I'm going to be signing off. I hope you guys stay safe. UK election results come out tonight at 11 p.m. to midnight. So please, if you don't have to trade, don't trade. So that'll be it. I'm RP Forex. I'm logging off. Happy trading and take care.